Welcome to a new episode of Countrygram, where I talk about various countries, the different personalities within these countries, how these countries were made, what makes these countries special, why you should visit this country. Today's episode is going to be on a relatively new country, depending on your perspective. The country is the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. Right in the heart of Afghanistan lies the ancient minaret of Ejam, a soaring structure that reaches towards the heavens, surrounded by the rugged remote landscapes of the Hari River Valley. This 12th century monument is not just a marvel of the architecture, beauty and artistic detail, but also a poignant reminder of the Afghanistan and their rich, turbulent history. See, the minaret inscribed with verses from the Quran and poetry from the Kufitic script has witnessed centuries of conquest, cultural flourishing and devastating conflicts. However, it still stands resilient today. It symbolizes the enduring depth of a nation that has been at the crossroads of civilizations through history. Many civilizations. As we embark on this journey through Afghanistan's past and present, the minaret of Jam serves as a beacon and guides us through the stories and resilience and artistry and survival of this enigmatic country. That's really what I want you to picture in your head as I talk about the various peoples, the various ethnicity, the various religions that make up this beautiful mountainous country in the heart of Asia, quite literally in the center, depending on your perspective. But yeah, let's get right into it, guys. First, I want to really start off with talking about the country's culture. You see, Afghanistan is in the heart of Asia, and because of this, there's a lot of cultural.
So here is the beginning of the year pattern. Let me tell you, I don't know why he goes on for this long, but just so you know, Afghanistan is one of the most cultural rich places you will ever lay your eyes on.
Let's ignore the Timu chain and focus on the two places that influence Afghanistan's culture.
Places such as, Pakistan, the Arabs on the east, and the Iranic peoples. Also, some people from the north and south. So many countries around it. That Afghanistan is very unique. And that's what I want you to really remember here. And what do the people eat? Well, they listen to a lot of songs, but what they really eat is they love a lot of veggies that are mixed with beef. If you don't know, food is my favorite part of this episode. That's why I moved it to the part. But one dish which I really want to talk about is something that really struck out to me. It's called a pulao, a rice mixed dish with carrots, raisins, and tender lamb that fills the air with its delightful aroma during celebrations and gatherings. They enjoy mantu, which is dumplings filled with meat and onions, topped with yogurt, dried mint, and a dish that tells the tale of the Silk Road, because the Silk Road runs through Afghanistan, which many people don't know, that it is the road that during the ancient times was used as a trading route. Silk being silk. If most of you don't know, it's like this material that many people used to wear. Many people still wear, but not as much. But it was used to be very valuable, and China was the only country that could produce it. Europeans wanted it, and the Arabs wanted it. So in the end, there was a road that I'm going to put it right here. There was a road that connected the Europeans, the Western empires, and China, called the Silk Road. It went through Afghanistan. Went through it. But yes, that is the Silk Road, and Afghanistan food kind of derives from this because it was in the center of Asia, so a lot of cultures passed through it. But there are significant customs that I really want you to remember with Afghanistan. For example, we have the Nowruz, which is the New Year's festival celebrated by music, dance, and special foods, making it the first day of spring and a renewal of nature. That's what it celebrates. We also have the Busaski, a traditional thrilling game played on horseback where riders compete to grab goat carcasses and test their strength. That's really interesting. All this talk about animals, it really reminds me of the time where I tried to get my horse to drink water.
it is crazy to me the things I dreamt about. Because how am I going to include a horse in a video when I can barely afford to get my own daughter's orders delivered? How is this even possible? I'm sorry guys, but I'm going to have to move on to the next section without this funny cutaway scene.
Moving back from horses, let's move on to the famous people that live in this, should I say, country, because Afghanistan, as most people don't know, it's not recognized by a lot of people. Even during the Olympics, there were Afghani athletes in the Olympics who were allowed to participate to trial for the Olympics, but they weren't it's so complicated. Basically, a regime is currently in control of Afghanistan that's not recognized internationally. So, are they a country? It depends on your perspective, as usual. But yeah, these are some famous people. We have Muhammad Tarzi from 1865 to 1933. He's known as the father of Afghan journalism and was a visionary who introduced the modern educational system to Afghanistan. The more you know. We also have Bushkashi, which is a thrilling game, as I talk about horseback. It derives from Afghanistan. But yeah, that was really interesting. There's a lot of things that are good about Afghanistan in regards to its famous people. As I was researching this video, there wasn't a lot of female popular Afghani people. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the regime. I know the regime doesn't really kind of prop up women. It's very, very archaic. But hey, that's their culture, so I don't want to really touch upon this. But yeah, that's something I really wanted to, kind of highlight, that there wasn't a lot of female representation in this video. But before I forget, there's also Rashid Khan, who was a famous cricketer. Cricket is really big in that part of the world, so Rashid Khan is a cricketer from Afghanistan who is very famous. But yeah, there's a lot of culture within this space, and there's a lot of ethnic cuisine from Kabul, which is the capital, to other places. But yeah, let's move on. Afghanistan's demographic landscape is a rugged and diverse terrain shaped by centuries of conquest and exchanges. You see, there's many ethnic groups within Afghanistan. For example, the Pashtun, which make up 42% of the total population of Afghanistan. And if most people don't know, there's a lot of controversy around the Pashtun people because they are not only in Afghanistan, but they're also in Pakistan. And it stirs up a lot of tensions within these countries because they want to be united. And this forces these governments to kind of butt heads sometimes. And this is really bad. Recently, there was a law that was passed in Pakistan that basically said everyone of Afghani descent has to leave Pakistan. It's caused a lot of turmoil. A lot of people had to move, which basically reminds me of the time that the same thing happened within India when Pakistan and India had to exchange groups. The Muslims had to go to Pakistan. The Christians had to go to the Hindus had to go to India. The fact that that's happening in today is very crazy to me, but that is what happened recently, like 2 years ago. But yeah, it's still happening to this day too. They're still exchanging people as people go back. As you know, I think Pakistan recognizes the Afghanistan government now, because Afghanistan was in a civil war for a long time. Most people don't remember this. People talk about Russia, Ukraine. America was in Afghanistan. But let's move on. They also have the Tajiks, who make up 27% of the population. We have the Hazara, who make up 9%. The Uzbeks, who make up 9%. Uzbekistan, shout out to Uzbekistan. I like that country. But yeah, Uzbekistan is also a powerhouse in soccer, a rising powerhouse. Remember their name. The economic indicators. The median household income per capita of Afghanistan is challenging to measure, but it has been going up recently as they now have a relatively more stable government, even though the democratic one was stable. But yeah, there's also different languages such as Dari, which is a Persian language. Remember the Persians were kind of in Afghanistan. I remember even Alexander the Great was in Afghanistan. We also have the Pashto, which is the dominant language, and we have other minor languages such as Uzbek, Turkmen, and Balochi. Let's move on to the religious breakdown of Afghanistan. But it's mainly Islam, and you have about Sunni Islam, which makes up 85 to 90% of the population, and Shia kind of make the rest, which is about 10% of the population. The population distribution is also pretty big compared to other countries, with 38 million people residing within Afghanistan. And the population growth rate is around 2.3% per decade, which is actually not that much when you compare to most of the countries around there, especially Pakistan. And even if you expand around the world, that's not that great, considering the fact that they've been through wars. Usually countries with war tend to expand at a faster rate. Hey, the more you know. The state tree is the mulberry, which is traditionally used in local crafts and industries. And there's a lot of historic and natural features which I want to touch upon in this video. We have the Minaret of Jam, which I talked to you about. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. We also have the Band Air Amir, which is a series of 6 deep blue lakes and nestled amidst the high mountains, showcasing the national beauty of the country. According to a Köppen classification map, which is right here, it's predominantly BWH, which is semi-arid with mountains regions, and it experiences more cold, temperate climates. The climate is very diverse, which significantly affects the agricultural practices and within the regions that are in Afghanistan. See, when you are mountainous, there's a lot of variation within the in terms of the weather. But the major cities in Afghanistan include Kabul, which is the capital, and this is the biggest city. We also have Kadar with 600,000 residents. Kabul had 4 million. Kadar has 600,000. We also have Herat, which is very beautiful. You should visit there. It's Persian. We also have Mazar and Jalab.
From Kabul, you probably thrive on traffic jams and chaos and protests. Well, nothing more in terms of protests.
If you're from Herat, you probably enjoy tea and you are probably judging everyone's poetry skills.
If you're from Kandahar, you're probably tough and no one wants to mess with you because they know you've seen it all. If you're from Mazar, you spend half your time explaining to people it's not just about the shrines, we have more to do.
Now you know the only reason why you exist is because of the Blue Mosque.
Pool Air Komi, the strategic location between Kabul and Mazari.
What they'd like you to believe, but we all know you're the Connecticut of Afghanistan. Everyone just wants to go to Kabul or Mazur. No one wants to stay there.
If you're from Kunduz, you're probably no stranger to change. 1 minute you are a city, the next you are a strategic zone for another country.
Mazar and Jalab. Afghanistan's geography is rugged mountains, with the Hindu Kush being the most significant, and they've historically acted as a sort of crossroad for different cultures within the region. The flora and fauna of the country include a lot of desert vegetation. So if you're in Afghanistan, you probably see a lot of, I don't want to say cacti because that might be wrong, but there's a lot of desert vegetation. But the impact of the geography has had an impact on where people live. Most people don't live in the capital. They live around in different areas. But yeah, overall a very diverse country, beautiful people.
It is 3 a.m. Today's Tuesday. I have 2 exams tomorrow, 7 a.m. classes and 10 a.m. classes, math exams, and I'm here editing these videos for you at 3 a.m. instead of sleeping. You have no idea how much I'm going to bomb this exam, but please like and subscribe because I have put in my heart and soul for you guys, so you should do the same for me. Please, 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 I'm begging you, I need money. I almost forgot, this is the fashion section.
Like, they tend to wear beards and turbans, which is a traditional attire for Afghan men. Maybe not as much in the city, but that's what they usually wear. Men usually wear burqas, and you know, because of the new Afghanistan regime, which is can I say this? Taliban? Yeah, Taliban. They're not really allowed to, you know, wear what they. I don't know how to phrase it. They're supposed to wear burqas basically, but you know, there's a very rich cultural place, so there's a lot of clothing people wear. So it's not only that you can wear whatever you want. Yes, you know, you have to cover up a bit if you're a woman and you're going there. You probably shouldn't, but if you are, oh yeah, there's opium poppies a lot in Afghanistan. It's one of the biggest opium producers, even though there used to be a crackdown on it. I know it's used to make drugs, so the world really doesn't like it, so they forced Afghanistan to stop growing it, which, you know, had some havoc on the economy. And a random fact about Afghanistan is the lapis lazuli gemstones. They're used to make You know who Tutankhamun is? He's an Egyptian pharaoh. Basically, his death mask was made with gems from Afghanistan, which is so surprising. Who'd have thought in ancient Egypt they're talking to Afghanistan people? That's crazy. Significant economic contributions, especially in agriculture, where Afghanistan is known for producing some of the world's finest pomegranates, grapes, and saffron. Afghanistan remains a critical part of the world economy, and it employs about 60% of the people in terms of agriculture. The technological contributions of Afghanistan are not a lot because they are, you know, a relatively new country, especially because of the new government. They have very forward-thinking environmental policies, surprisingly. And from what I would gather, their immigration policies are not that bad, especially because they had to, you know, sort of accept the refugees that sort of led their country following the civil war. popular sports in Afghanistan are cricket. Soccer is also rising, but it's mostly cricket and busaski, which is the horse riding sport I was talking to you about. Only men are allowed to participate in these sports, which is, in my opinion, not that good. But so all this talk about men reminds me of the time when one of my friends got hacked on Instagram. As a man.
I'm actually about to film this week's episode, so I could actually do this, but I'm choosing not to because I'm really out of time. But does anyone remember that time when everyone was getting hacked on Instagram? Does anyone remember that? How do you get hacked as a man? Like, what goes through your head that makes you think that, wait, let me give this stranger my phone number and he can, like, get the 2FA code? Like, how do you get hacked as a human being in 2024? That's crazy to me.
Their GDP is $19 billion, which is not that high, especially for this time. Even though there's a lot of inflation going on, I'm not sure it affects them as much. But in conclusion, Afghanistan is a land of untapped potential and resilient people who face very dangerous situations, and I really wish them the best of luck. This was produced by me, and I really hope you like it. It's a good episode. I want to bring all the countries together, and I want to hit them up one by one by one. I'm going to do all the countries by the end of this series. But yeah, this has been your boy Reggae. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Smash that like button, tickle that subscribe button, and peace.
All this kind of reminds me of that time I was on Home Alone. I realized it wasn't a movie for me.
Yo, what's going on with the rubber, guys?
Sorry, boss. I just burnt my hand on the
No,
door.
thinking about that. Don't handle this kind of red.
Why would you grab? Red means hot, bro. Don't grab it,
That does make sense.
bro. Just kick the door down or something.
Oh, bro. Watch out. You almost fall down there.
Yeah, good thing you warned me. That's a lot of marbles.
Really?
Right
You'd have tripped on the marbles. I'm starting to second guess hiring the two of you.
That is a lot of marbles, boss.
By the way, we're in the basement right now. We're just searching for stuff. We have to run down here for a bit, but we'll find
Why would
something.
you run down them? Why would you run? Guys. Use your head.
Ah, what the fuck?
What the? That paint can came out of nowhere.
The paint can hit you.
Yeah, boss, it was cut tight to a thread.
No,
It just fell on us.
Catch the paint can.
It was moving quite fast, boss.
Hey, what are you guys doing here?
Is that an 8-year-old boy?
Hey, yeah, that's...
Listen, guys.
That's the same guy. That's the same kid. I tell you, he's supposed to be on vacation.
Why is he on
Hey, listen, grab the
Don't
guts.
shoot him. He's 8. Just tie him.
You know, this is why you're the boss.